completely pale compared to the firecrackers that already delivered. But let me start by saying how proud I am in this movement that I've witnessed grow stronger and stronger every day over the past 2 years. And I'm so proud of our Northwest that's anti-fascist, anti-racist, and anti-bigot. I'd like to begin with the legendary words of the great astronomer Carl Sagan, who famously 35 years ago offered a perspective that feels more relevant now than ever. He wrote of our world as seen from the depths of space by the Voyager spacecraft right before it left the solar system, the famous pale blue dot. And it goes as, look again at that dot. That's here, that's home, that's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. On a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. The earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. He called Earth a very small stage and challenged our posturing and imagined self-importance. In all this vast cosmic dark, he reminded us there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. For now, this pale blue dot is where we must make our stand. Sometimes I wonder if that explains why we seem so alone in the universe. Perhaps any intelligent beings out there look at us and see a primitive species, still consumed by self-righteousness, racial superiority, and hatred. A people who after thousands of years still resort to mass murder and ethnic cleansing. And we see this playing out in real time. Our politicians see the same horrific images we do, yet they turn a blind eye and continue to be indifferent and arm Israel to the teeth with our tax dollars. The crimes documented over just the past 2 years are beyond comprehension and horrifying. Children buried alive or deliberately targeted by snipers. This is no longer indiscriminate, it's deliberate. It's child sacrifice and ritualistic. The highest number of journalists killed in any conflict, creating an information blackout. UN shelters, hospitals, and schools bombed. Aid workers clearly marked, slaughtered, and buried in their vehicles. Rescuers targeted and murdered through the double tap tactic. While trying to deliver aid to the wounded, hospitals destroyed, medics kidnapped and tortured, and an entire population starved, and the list goes on. When a corrupt ideology convinces people they're inherently better than others, it justifies any barbaric act from them. Zionism is that ideology. It's the lowest form of existence, far below the wildest, most vicious wild animals. Apologies to animals. And this unprecedented evil threatens to destroy the very fabric of our shared humanity. Its strategy is ancient: divide and conquer. They pit men against women, right against the left, religion against religion. They know that our unity is their downfall, which is why the shifting tides we are now witnessing are so significant and powerful. When voices from across the political spectrum, from Piers Morgan, Candace Owens, and Tucker Carlson to Mehdi Hassan and Anna Kasparian, unite in condemnation of Israel, it tells you the crimes must be too horrific to ignore. This system fights back viciously. They use the tools of Epstein's sexual blackmailing and compromise to control our institutions. They silence critics, as they did with Charlie Kirk, in the worst possible form and at the highest price. They target anyone who speaks out, as I know personally, having been bullied by the FBI and targeted by them on false allegations that clearly originated from Israeli agents, followed by anonymous threat letters. So let me be clear, I'm not suicidal, and no one in this movement is suicidal. We will not be intimidated, bent, or silenced. But not all hope is lost. Look at the cracks forming in their foundation. The protests in Italy blocking arms shipments and transfer to Israel. The boycott by Spain. The recognition of Palestinian statehood at the UN. And the loud demands for release of Epstein client list. Our momentum is growing. They want perpetual conflict, but we choose unity. They want our silence, but we choose to speak. Our silence is complicity. We must defend what is right, no matter who the perpetrator is. So let us return to that pale blue dot. Let us see it for what it is, our only home. A home that belongs to all of us equally. On that tiny stage, suspended in a sunbeam, we have the choice. We can succumb to the ancient hatred that consume us, or we can finally come together as one human family to defend our common home and our common future. The choice is ours. Let's make it count. Free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Within our lifetime.
Within our lifetime.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Within our lifetime.
Within our lifetime.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Within our lifetime.
Within our lifetime.
Awesome. Next we have from FRSO Holly.
Everybody, my name is Holly. I'm with the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. We are a national organization of revolutionaries, and that's why I say to you today, victory to the Palestinian resistance! There's only one solution. Antifada revolution! There's only one solution! Antifada revolution! Antifada, Antifada! Long live the Antifada! Antifada, Antifada! Globalize the Antifada! So I'm going to be really honest with you all today. I don't have a speech prepared. And that is because this weekend I was out in front of the ICE facility protesting, exercising my First Amendment rights. And I and several other comrades who are in the audience today were detained. I was leading chants and I was grabbed by ICE. I was slammed to the ground and dragged across the concrete and put back into their detention facility. That's shame. So all week long, I have been doing jail support, calling lawyers, setting up legal defense funds, and stepping in to protect my comrades. And that's why I don't have a speech prepared today. Actually, another comrade was supposed to speak, but they were arrested last weekend. So we're doing this on the fly. But I want to talk about my experience while I was detained. I was only detained for 5 hours. Number one, while I was detained in there, all I could think about was how fucking sick it is that immigrants are placed in that detention facility. Boo! Shame! But also while I was in there, I thought about Palestine. I thought about Palestine, and it honestly makes me cry because I was in there for 5 hours. 5 hours. And it was horrible. It was horrible. And I thought about all the freedom fighters in Palestine who are in jails, in Israeli jails right now. Just for standing up against a rotten, sick, imperialist power like Israel and the United States. And we know what happens in those jails. We know what they do in those jails. It is rotten, it is disgusting, and my tiny little time in a detention facility made me feel even more firm in my commitment to not only fighting for a free Palestine, but fighting for a world that is free from U.S. imperialism. Because we know the root cause of what is happening in Palestine is U.S. imperialism. The U.S. has its foot on the neck of countries all over the world, and it holds them down simply to extract resources. Boo! We know there's a reason why the U.S. funds Israel so heavily, right? And that is because they need a proxy. They need a place in the Middle East that they can use as their launching pad in order to dominate the entire region. Shame on them and shame on this entire system. So on October 7th, I am here today to say that Palestine has a right to resist. And we, those of us in the United States, we have a responsibility to stand against Israel and to stand against U.S. imperialism, to stand with Palestine. Because we know that our fates are intimately connected. We know that every fight that a Palestinian freedom fighter takes against Israel helps our fight here. We have the same enemy. So that is why we cannot stop, we cannot rest. I was detained this last week and I'm so happy to be out here today. So we're going to keep fighting for Palestine, we're going to keep fighting against ICE, we're going to keep fighting against capitalism. We're going to keep on fighting until this entire system is pulled down, pulled up from the root, and we replace it with something better, and for me that's socialism. So I want to end this by saying once again, victory to the Palestinian resistance. I know I'm always keeping Palestine in my mind and my heart. Let's all always keep Palestine in our mind and our hearts. We can do nothing else. We have a grave and very serious responsibility to keep fighting for Palestine right now. So let's keep at it. Let's keep fighting. And if you're serious about revolution, come talk to me.
Israel bombed the United States.